Okay, so by now you've done this. You've attempted the error analysis to figure out what was wrong here. So let's see how you did. Remember, if you don't write exactly what I write, but you got the overall idea of what they did wrong correct, then you don't have to rewrite everything. If you really totally missed what they did and you didn't get it right, you need to work with me here. Or if you couldn't figure it out on your own, you need to work with me here. That way I know you see it now. Because you worked through it with me. But if you have something very similar, that's good enough. As long as it is the main reason why in there. So let's look at the first one then. It says, Shirley bought 8/9 of fabric. And I'm just going to start here where it says correct work solution. You could have started wherever you want. She used 1/4 of a yard to make a vest. What fraction of a yard of fabric does she have left over? So pretty straightforward that it was subtraction. We set it up like this. They set it up like that, but it's fine. So far they're good. And let me start looking at it now. So I know that I need to get a common denominator here. And if I look at this and skip count by 4s, I'm not going to get to, and 9s, I'm not going to get to anything until I get to 36. Or you could have multiplied by the opposite denominators. So we'll use 36 as our new denominator. And let's see, we do 9 times 4 to get that. What do you do to the top? The same thing. Right here, 4 times 9 to get there. What do you do to the top? The same thing. Okay, let's just go see how they did that. Well, they did 36 as well, see? And they have 9 times 4, 4 times 9. Look here, though. They didn't do the same thing to the top as they did to the bottom. They did not apply the same operation. They did not apply the same multiplication of the same number as the denominator to the numerator. Remember, whatever we do to the denominator, we do it to the numerator. And here, that's the only way to create an equivalent fraction, because you're multiplying by 1, really. Because any number over itself is equal to 1, and they don't do that. If you don't do that, you didn't do it right, because you're not making your fraction equivalent to the original. So that's where they messed up. How can we shorten it? I'm gonna write what I said here. The student did not generate equivalent fractions correctly. They multiply by different numbers at top and bottom, meaning numerator and denominator. They multiplied by different numbers at top and bottom. This created the rest. So the rest of the thing is wrong. The rest of the work is wrong because they messed up right there. Okay. So what would you do then? What do you need to tell someone like this? They did wrong. If you shared a strategy with them, you would say, when you are changing denominators, you have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, like this. That's the only way it'll work. So that would be my strategy. Remember, whatever you do to the bottom to get your denominator to change, you do the same thing to the top. So we could write something like, when you're changing denominators, remember to multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. And you could even write something like, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. That would be the big strategy here, right? Okay, so if we finish working it out, we would see that their answer is totally wrong, because we have 32 minus 9. And we would get 23 over 36. That can't be simplified. So that's the answer. It's not even 1 whole. And they got the answer as 1 8/9. So they did something wrong. They almost got 2, and it's not even 1. And yeah, that doesn't make sense because this isn't even 1 minus, anything. It's going to be less than 1. Okay, next one. Let's look at the second part. So on the second one, Brian walked 2 1/7 miles to the library. And then 1 2/5 miles home. How many miles did he walk in all? So this is pretty obviously addition. So 2 things. I noticed that they made him mad. They turned them into improper fractions, and then they did the work. So I'm going to do that here. You don't have to, though. You could have done it regularly and just changed the fractional part. That's fine, too. So this isn't wrong that they made it mad first. Whatever. I'm going to do it like that just to see. So, multiply, add, copy the denominator. So this is 14/15 over 7. Then make this one mad, change it to improper, 5/6/7 over 5. Okay, and now I'm going to do the work. So they have, let's just see what they have. I got 15 over 7 plus 7/5. Right there, they messed up. They didn't change it to an improper fraction correctly. So their answer cannot be right. So let's go ahead and write what they did wrong. The student did not change the mixed numbers to improper fractions correctly, and this messed up his whole thing, because even if they did everything else right, they started off wrong. They did 14 and they did 5. They did the multiply part, but they forgot to add that numerator to each one. So let's get the correct solution then. So if we do this, I'm going to choose a denominator of 35. You could skip count to get that by 5 and 7, or you can multiply by the opposite denominator. And then, so we do 5 to get there. You do 5 to the top. You do 7 to get there. You do 7 to the top. So 75, and then this one's 49. And it's adding. So we have our 35, but we need to go do 75 plus 49. 124 over 35. And look at the difference right here. See, I got some marker on my fingernail. We have 124 over 35 and 105 over 35. Those don't match. So they messed up earlier up here, messed up your whole work. So how do we fix this? When it's top heavy, you do top divided by bottom. So 35, let me come guess on the side. 105, so I'm going to pick 3. 105. 9. So 3 and 19 over 35 is my answer. And it can't be simplified, and that's very different than what they have. It's 19/35 more than what they have. So he actually walked 3 and 19 over 35 miles. So if you did it the other way, you would have gotten the same thing. You just wouldn't have had to do all this. So if you choose, here's a strategy to tell a student, if they choose to make it mad, make the fractions mad, change them to improper fractions first, they need to remember to add the numerator. So when you use the MAD strategy, remember to add the numerator also, because the rest of their work is perfect, but when they messed up on that one little thing and they didn't add the 1 and they didn't add the 2 as they made it mad, it messed up the whole problem. So that would be the big key there. Okay, remember, turn this into the black basket of your class, put your name on it, and move on to your next thing.